The original mission of the charity was to help people live in a society that wasn't so judgmental of family estrangement, to educate people so they had reasons and understood why people would perhaps not be in contact with their family or a family member. And another mission was to actually help students who were having a very difficult time of defining their estrangement with other people, like the government or statutory services. And quite by surprise, I think we've actually achieved a lot of that in the first 3 years, simply because of the amount of people that have been willing to collaborate with us and help us to achieve our mission. Nothing has given me greater pride than to look at the standalone pledge and to see how many universities are now understanding of estranged students and their needs, and how many of them do now know that not all people without a family network are care leavers, and that there may be people outside of the care system that have this dysfunctional family relationship. So when I founded Standalone, I really wanted to create a society that was non-judgmental and understanding of family breakdown and why people became estranged from their families, and also why people didn't have the kind of family relationships that we see in the media at Christmas time or in adverts. There's this automatic understanding that family should be and always is close, and as I lived outside of that, I wanted to help people understand that many others did too. I think really also we wanted to break down isolation and unite people with others that are in the same situation so they didn't feel as alone. And lastly, but definitely not least, we wanted to help students who were having a real difficulty defining their status and their family relationships with statutory services or with other organisations who needed proof or evidence that they were actually estranged from their family. And in many cases they didn't have this kind of proof, so it left them very stuck and, in our view, at a disadvantage. So I think over the last 3 years we've actually achieved a huge amount of what we set out to do. Hundreds of people have experienced our groups where they've met somebody else in a similar situation. Students now have a much better process for defining their estrangement and a more understanding network of people who really get why people don't always have letters or social service involvement in their cases. And actually I think now we live in a society that might be a little bit more aware of family estrangement and what the causes are and what the consequences are for people, and perhaps, you know, a society that is perhaps a percentage a bit more understanding and non-judgmental. In terms of the future, we want to build on that foundation, and we want to make sure that our collaborative spirit and our partnerships with other people, be it designers, counsellors, government organisations, are really, really fruitful in helping to break down isolation, to raise awareness, to improve policy, and to bring better research around this subject.